600 boxes, 10 polls. We're starting in the year 4000 AD with science fiction and jumping back to 1972 horror. Magnus Robot Fighter number 9, Gold Key, 1965, Russ Manning. Set in the year 4000 AD, a future where humanity has become entirely dependent on robots. Magnus is the one man trained to fight them with his bare hands. No weapons, just superhuman strength and a very specific set of convictions about what it means to be human. Manning's painted covers on the series are some of the finest science fiction illustration in comics history. This is an underappreciated run. Magnus 10, consecutive with 9, still 65, still Manning. The series published roughly every 3 months. Gold Key understood that quality took time. Manning never rushed this book, and it shows on every page. Magnus 11, The World of North Am. North America in the year 4000 is fully established by this point in the run. Manning built an entire civilization across these issues. The robots aren't just villains, they're a commentary on what happens when humanity stops doing anything for itself. 1965 science fiction thinking about automation and dependency. Still relevant. Magnus 12, the run is moving through its strongest period. Manning's storytelling becomes more ambitious as the series finds its footing. Longer arcs, more developed supporting characters, the world of North Am expanding issue by issue. Magnus 13, 5 consecutive issues from the heart of the Russ Manning run. This is one of Gold Key's finest achievements and one of the most overlooked science fiction runs in American comics. We'll come back to this series. There are more issues in this collection. Worlds Unknown number 2, Marvel, 1973. I have 3 copies. Part of Roy Thomas's coordinated 1972 horror and science fiction anthology initiative. 4 titles launched within months of each other. Worlds Unknown adapted classic science fiction stories, Roy Thomas tracking down original authors and getting their blessing before adapting their work. An unusually respectful approach for 1973 comics publishing. Chamber of Chills number 2, horror anthology. Part of the same wave as Worlds Unknown, supernatural thrillers, and Journey into Mystery. Marvel flooding the horror market in 72 and 73 after the Comics Code loosened its restrictions on supernatural content. The horror revival of 72 gave us Tomb of Dracula, Werewolf by Night, and an entire ecosystem of anthology titles. And here's Tomb of Dracula number 2. We did pull Tomb of Dracula number 3 in an earlier episode, but this issue, Dracula undergoes cosmetic surgery to pass as human. The logic checks out. And pursues Frank Drake to London. Gene Colan's Dracula is the definitive visual interpretation of the character in comics. Atmospheric, threatening, genuinely unsettling in a way most horror comics weren't. Supernatural Thrillers number 3, The Valley of the Worm. I pulled 5 copies from this box. This is adapted from Robert E. Howard, the same creator as Conan the Barbarian. Rather than being in Conan's world, this is Howard's sword and sorcery applied to prehistoric horror. Roy Thomas adapting Howard for Marvel was a consistent thread across multiple titles simultaneously. Supernatural Thrillers number 1. I pulled 8 copies out of this box. This is the first comic appearance of It, a muck-encrusted creature that forms in the forest around the bones of a dead man. Adapted from Theodore Sturgeon's 1940 short story. Sturgeon's original prose story predates Man-Thing and Swamp Thing by over 30 years. The swamp monster genre has deep roots, and Marvel was working in a rich tradition when they adapted it in 1972. Not to mention it has a great Jim Steranko cover. But that's 10, 5 issues of the most underappreciated science fiction run in Gold Key history, 4 Marvel horror titles from 72 and 73, and 8 copies of Marvel's adaptation of a story that helped define the swamp monster genre. See you in the next one.